Hello, this is another episode of Moraine Reads, and I would like to introduce the idea of poetry in long form fiction, often called prose poetry. And one of my favorites, one of the best to start with, is the novel Maud Martha by my childhood shiro and lifetime shiro, Gwendolyn Brooks. And it starts with a young girl about the age of 8, um, black girl living in Chicago, and records her internal journey and perceptions and thoughts to the age of maybe mid 30s. And for example, here is, oh no, what have I done? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is chapter 22. Tradition in Maud Martha. What she had wanted was a solid. She had wanted shimmering form, warm, but hard as stone, and is difficult to break. She had wanted to found tradition. She had wanted to shape for their use, for hers, for his, for little Paulette's, some set of falterless customs. She had wanted stone. Here she was, being wife to him, salving him in every way, considering and replenishing him. In short, here she was celebrating Christmas night by passing pretzels and beer. He had done his part, was his claim. He had he not, lugged in a Christmas tree. So he had waited till early Christmas morning when a tree was cheap. So he could not get the lights to burn. So the tinsel was insufficient, and the gold balls few. He had promised a tree, and he had gotten a tree, and that should be enough for everybody. Furthermore, Paulette had her blocks, her picture book, her doll buggy, and her doll. So the doll's left elbow was chipped. More than that would be chipped before Paulette was through. And if the doll buggy was not like the Gold Coast buggies, that was too bad. That was too bad for Maud Martha, for Paulette. Here he was, whipping himself to death daily, that Maud Martha's stomach and Paulette's stomach might receive bread and milk and navy beans with tomato ketchup, and he was taken to task because he had not furnished, in addition, a velvet-lined buggy with white-walled wheels. Oh, yes, that was what Maud Martha wanted for her precious princess daughter. And no use denying, but she could go out and get work. That was all. She could grab herself a job and buy some of the beans and the buggies. And in the meantime, she could just help entertain his friends. She was his wife, and he was the head of the family. And on Christmas night, the least he could do, by God, and would do, by God, was stand his friends a good mug of beer. And to heck with, in fact, to hell with, her fruitcakes and coffees. Put Paulette to bed. At home, the buying of the Christmas tree was a ritual. Always it had come into the Brown household 4 days before Christmas, tall, but not too tall, and not too wide. Tinsels, bulbs, little Santa Clauses, and snowmen, and the pretty gold and silver colored balls did not have to be renewed oftener than once in every 5 years, because after Christmas they were always put securely away on a special shelf in the basement where they rested for a year. black walnut candy in little flat white sheets, crunchy, accompanied by the tree, but it was never eaten until Christmas Eve. Then, late at night, a family decorating party was held. Maud Martha, Helen, and Harry giggling and teasing, and occasionally handing up a ball or a Santa Claus, while their father smiled benignly over all, and strung and fitted and tinseled, and their mother brought in the black walnut candy, steaming cups of cocoa with whipped cream, and plain shortbread, and everything peaceful, sweet. And there were other customs. I gotta get to them. What of the October customs? Of pumpkins yellowy burning, of polished apples in water-green bowl, of sheets for ghost costumes surrendered by Mama with a sigh, and birthdays with their pink and white cakes and candles, strawberry ice cream, and presents wrapped up carefully and tied with wide ribbons. Where here was this man who never considered giving his own mother a birthday bouquet, and dropped in his wife's lap a birthday box of drugstore candy when he thought of it, wrapped in the drugstore green. The dinner table at home was spread with a white cloth, cheap, but white and very white, and whatever was their best china sat, cheerful dignity, firmly arranged upon it. This man was not a lover of tablecloths. He could eat from a splintery board. He could eat from the earth. She passed round blats and inhaled the smoke of the guests' cigarettes and watched the soaked tissue that had enfolded the corner of Chicken Inn's burned barbecue drift listfully to her rug. She removed from her waist the arm of Chuno Jones, Paul's best friend. And this is really my favorite in the novel. Much shorter, and you can only say it's poetic. Um, this is chapter 21, Posts. People have to choose something decently constant to depend on, thought Maud Martha. People must have something to lean on. But the love of a single person was not enough. Not only was personal love itself, however good, a thing that varied from week to week, from second to second, but the parties to it were likely, to example, to die any minute, or otherwise be parted, or destroyed at any time. Not alone was the romantic love of a man and a woman fallible, but the breadier love between parents and children, brothers, animals, friend and friend, those two could not be heavily depended on. Could be nature, which had a seed or a root or an element, what do you want to call it, of constancy under all that system of change. Of course, to say system at all implied arrangement, and therefore some order of constancy. Could be, she mused, a marriage. The marriage shell, not the romance or love it might contain, a marriage, the plainer, the more plateau-like, the better. A marriage made up of Sunday papers and shoeless feet, baking powder biscuits, baby baths, and matinees and laundrymen, and potato plants in the kitchen window, was, perhaps, The whole life of a man, a dedication to this search for something to lean upon, or it was to a great degree his happiness or unhappiness, written up for him by the demands or limitations of what he chose for that work. For work it was. Leaning was a work. Again, that's Gwendolyn Brooks, Maud Martha from 1953. I'm Joe from the library. Thank you for listening. Keep on reading. Bye-bye.